For nearly 3 centuries, humanity had lived under the peaceful promise of the Galactic Council. When Earth first discovered faster-than-light travel, humanity believed it had finally stepped into the grand community of the stars. The Galactic Council welcomed them with open arms, or at least that's what it seemed like at first. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations gathered in a massive station orbiting a dying blue star, a place known as the Hall of Concord. There, laws were written, disputes were settled, and the future of the galaxy was supposedly guided by cooperation. Humanity joined the council with optimism. Earth's leaders believed that diplomacy, shared technology, and peaceful cooperation would secure a brighter future, not just for humans, but for every species in the galaxy. For decades, things seemed to work. Human scientists shared medical breakthroughs that cured diseases across dozens of alien worlds. Human engineers helped rebuild colonies destroyed by stellar storms. When two ancient alien empires nearly went to war over a disputed system, it was human diplomats who negotiated the treaty that prevented billions of deaths. But slowly, quietly, things began to change. The older council species had ruled the galaxy long before humans ever reached the stars. To them, humanity was young, energetic, innovative, but unpredictable. Humans developed new technologies faster than any species the Council had ever seen. Their colonies multiplied rapidly, their fleets became stronger every decade, and that made the older civilizations nervous. At first, the restrictions were subtle. New regulations limited where humanity could establish colonies. Certain technologies were declared restricted, conveniently banning research fields where humans had recently made breakthroughs. Trade tariffs began to appear, slowing the spread of human economic influence. Earth protested, but the Council always had a justification. Balance must be preserved, they said. For a while, humanity accepted it. After all, compromise required peace. But compromise slowly turned into containment. A century after humanity joined the Council, a vote passed that shocked Earth's representatives. A new law declared that any developing civilization within 50 light-years of human space would automatically be placed under Council supervision rather than human protection. Human diplomats argued fiercely against it, but they lost the vote. Then came the next law. Human military fleets were suddenly limited by Council treaty. The justification was simple. The Council claimed that humanity's rapid military development threatened galactic stability. Meanwhile, older empires with far larger fleets faced no such restrictions. For the first time, Earth realized something uncomfortable. Harmony wasn't equal. It was control. Still, humanity stayed. They believed diplomacy could fix it. Then came the incident that changed everything. It happened on a distant human colony called Epsilon Eridani 4, a thriving world filled with millions of settlers, scientists, and families building a future beneath a golden sky. Without warning, a Council enforcement fleet arrived. Their mission was simple: enforce a newly passed environmental preservation law that had been approved just days earlier. According to the Council, the entire planet was now classified as a protected biosphere. Human settlement was declared illegal. The colonists were ordered to evacuate within 6 months. 6 months! For a world with millions of people, entire cities, and generations of families who had never even seen Earth. Earth's representatives demanded an emergency hearing. In the Hall of Concord, the human ambassador stood before the council chamber, staring at hundreds of alien delegates. For nearly 3 centuries, the ambassador said, humanity had lived under the peaceful promise of the Galactic Council. The chamber remained silent. Then the council speaker, a towering crystalline being older than most civilizations, responded calmly. The law was passed according to council procedure. You passed it after the colony already existed, the ambassador argued. The ecosystem is unique. Preservation takes priority. Humanity offered compromises. They proposed protected zones, shared research, even relocating entire cities to preserve the alien wildlife. Every proposal was rejected. The decision had already been made: evacuation, or removal by force. Across human space, outrage exploded. For the first time in centuries, Earth's governments were united in anger. Billions watched the council debate as if the fate of humanity itself was on trial. Protests erupted on dozens of worlds. Many alien civilizations quietly supported humanity, but they were too afraid to challenge the council's oldest powers. The evacuation deadline approached. 3 months, 2 months, 1 month. Human fleets moved to the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system, not to fight, but to protect the evacuation process. Massive transport ships arrived to move millions of people, but something unexpected happened. Many colonists refused to leave. "This is our home," they said. Tensions grew dangerously close to war. Council fleets gathered near the system as well, officially to monitor compliance. The galaxy held its breath. Then, 1 week before the deadline, the human ambassador returned to the council chamber. The Hall of Concord was packed with representatives from across the galaxy. Everyone expected another desperate negotiation. Instead, the ambassador stood calmly at the center of the chamber. "For 3 centuries," he began, "humanity believed in the dream of galactic harmony." The chamber was silent. "We shared our knowledge. We defended peace. We trusted that this council existed to protect all civilizations equally." He paused. "But harmony cannot exist where one voice is always ignored." Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. "You limited our growth, restricted our science, controlled our fleets, and now you demand that millions abandon their homes for a law written after their cities were built." The ambassador looked around the vast chamber. "You have crossed the line." The council speaker responded coldly. "Are you threatening rebellion?" The ambassador shook his head. "No." Then he activated a small device on the podium. Across the chamber, holographic symbols appeared. Dozens of them. Human colonies. Hundreds of them. "We are leaving." The room erupted with shocked whispers. "Effective immediately," the ambassador continued, "the United Systems of Humanity are withdrawing from the Galactic Council." Gasps spread across the chamber. "We will not fight you. We will not attack you, but we will no longer accept laws written by civilizations that fear our existence." The council speaker's voice hardened. "You cannot simply abandon council authority." The ambassador gave a faint smile. "Watch us." With that, he turned and walked out of the Hall of Concord. Within hours, the news spread across the galaxy. Human fleets began withdrawing from council-controlled space. Trade routes shifted overnight. Entire diplomatic missions shut down. Most shocking of all, human technology networks disconnected from council infrastructure. For centuries, the galaxy had quietly relied on human innovation. Now it was gone. And suddenly, the galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity had never truly needed them. Weeks later, the evacuation deadline for Epsilon Eridani 4 arrived. Council fleets entered the system cautiously, but when they arrived, they found something unexpected. The colony was still there. Cities still stood. Lights still burned. But surrounding the planet was something new. A massive human defense fleet, larger than any fleet the Council had ever seen. The message they received from Earth was simple. "We offered harmony." A pause followed. "You chose control." Another pause. "So now, humanity chooses freedom." For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council realized that the youngest civilization in the galaxy had just walked away, and the balance of power among the stars would never be the same again.